nice. You might be the only one in the world right now who has that much.
Shit. I'm positive I'm the only
Shut up, both of you.
You know who made it. 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 You know who made it.
Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? I hope we are doing well. Jordan, Adam, how are we doing today?
Great.
Good.
It's basically summer.
It's basically
Yeah.
summer.
We are doing good, everybody. Hope you all are doing fantastic.
I don't have the chat popped up. Every time I start this thing, either I get a box that's like, hey, check out my chat, right? Or I have to go into YouTube and get it, you know? So I have no idea how many people are in here or anything like that. It don't matter, I guess. I'm going to set my phone down and not worry about it. But we'll give everyone a sec here. Oh. It's fine. It's already here. Appreciate that. For anyone looking, my laundry is over there. We'll just do that.
There, that's better.
You go. That's better.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff. Jordan out here texting me, trying to be a good friend. All right, we'll give everyone just a sec. I'm going to shoot out some reminders that we're live to the Patreon members. If you want to become a Patreon member, it's patreon.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast.
I had a student tell me he was going to pay $40 an episode just to be a cameo.
Oh,
And I said, heck yeah, buddy, that sounds good.
yeah, love it.
I don't know, guys. Could we have children on this?
No, and then my follow-up was, do you have $40? He's like, well, this week I do.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go if you guys are.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
If you jump in, say hi in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube later, we're live every either Wednesday or Thursday, usually. And you can be part of this conversation. Yeah. All right, you guys ready? Jordan, are you ready to hit the button?
Sure
All
can.
right, Jordan, do you want to point at me or just give me a heads up? Because last time you didn't do anything, and it
Yeah.
felt really.
Away we.
Oh, it even says it in the corner. Welcome back to the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here to help you take the next step in your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and I'm once again joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how we doing?
So good.
So good.
Ready to go. Yeah.
So
We're in the
good.
midst of a draft right now in one of our leagues, and it just is like bringing me so much
Oh,
life.
I know.
You know, like we're just back in it. Yep.
And then we are also joined by the coach, Adam. Adam, you're beaming today.
I am. Good things in the works, and just life is good, you know what I mean? Tigers baseball team won today, which no one cares about but me, but here we are. I'm having a great...
Whoa.
great
We
time.
care.
Oh, good.
We
good.
care.
Yeah.
We will
fantastic.
always hype up.
I know Don cares down in Georgia, so I mean, that's good.
Yeah. Adam, is the hat you're wearing? Is that the new Twins
Sure is.
logo?
People
I
tell me
dig it.
that it looks like a Marlins hat.
I was
but
just about to say, is that a Marlins hat? But then I thought
got
you're not a
the-
Marlins fan.
The North Star here gives it away. It's the new design, so
All right, I dig it.
I dig it.
they won again today, so they are on a roll.
They are on a roll. Or
Take
something.
that, John.
Yeah, take that, John.
Whoa, John's a Cardinals fan, just like me.
Yeah, that sucks.
And let me tell you, my card's not doing so great.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all right. We're not here to talk about
Fine,
baseball.
Brewers got
No
swept.
way.
So this most recent one. So
Haha.
haha. Yes.
Ah!
All right, so what we're going to do is, we previously thought we were going to do more draft stuff, but the way we figured is anything that has been said, you've probably already heard at this point, right? So, we're going to go ahead and jump into for the next 8 weeks, the next 2 months, we're going to be breaking down every division, every fantasy relevant player. You know, in the beginning of this process, guys, it sounds quite daunting. But
It's important work.
it's important work. We did it last year. We're going to do it
We're doing
again.
the people's work right
The
here.
people's
Yeah.
work, yes. The only downside, right now it is the beginning of May, and some of these ADPs we're going to talk about are going to change drastically, right? So, take these early ADPs with a grain of salt, right? As we get into July, August, very early September, when we do those, then we'll have better ADPs, and when we talk about sleepers and people we like and don't like and all that stuff, we'll have better numbers there. So, for
It
example,
is a good opportunity for
Go
us to say our projections, though,
That's a
and
good point.
every once in a while make a crazy book it.
Oh.
Jake, I think you did this last year and had a couple of book its where you said, "Oh, they're right now they're ADP's the 12th round. You just wait, book it, it'll be the 7th," and then you got them all right.
Rashad
Yeah,
Bateman
you
was
nailed
there.
it. So
All right, so before we get into it, quickly, I'm just going to quickly say hi to all the people in the chat. I saw a bunch of people saying good morning, or good morning. Some hello, some good evenings, I should say. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see you guys. Joey says, can you tell Jake to make a good pick? I cannot guarantee anything. So we're going to play a game before we go. We've been bouncing around different games, but I thought, you know what, you guys did pretty well last time, if I do recall, the last game, right?
I think so.
Do you remember? Yeah. So
We always do well.
well,
We had one game where we didn't do okay.
I got a good one for you, and it's easy. It's
Okay.
easy because you should know the answers. In fact, I am so confident that you guys are going to get this, but I'm going to set the line. So here's my question. Don't say anything yet. The 10 people to win MVP. Okay?
Okay.
So obviously, like, don't Google it. What are you doing? I hear you typing.
I'm just preparing my notes, Jake.
Everyone, just go back. Hit the 10, 15-second back button right now. And you could hear him. He started typing there.
I know. I'm making notes. I'm taking a note of people that I want to say.
So, I will give you one here. And obviously, like, Mahomes, right? You don't need to say Mahomes twice.
Okay.
Just once. The last 10 people to do it. Oh, my goodness. Big tractor going by.
Hey, I just want to say, like, when you say a game's easy, you sound like the Hunger Games creator of the game. And he's like, oh, don't worry, champions. You'll be great, even though he knows more than half of them are going to die.
Well, I expect you guys to die in this because I'm setting the line at 8.5.
8.5.
So can we get Mahomes then? You gave that to
I'll
us?
give that one. So, that counts. That's one.
Okay.
8.5, which means you got to get 9 out of 10.
Okay.
3 X's. For the people in the chat playing along, you go ahead and say things. Boys, don't look at the chat. Don't cheat because it's not fun if you cheat. And I'm going to give you 3 minutes. And I'm setting it here. Are you guys ready? Remember, You got to lock it in, okay? Or final answer, however we've been saying it.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Mahomes also got another one, so lock that in.
Correct. Number 1. I'm saying number
Aaron
1 because
Rodgers.
he's the most recent. Correct.
Yep, Aaron
Number 2.
Rodgers. Back-to-backs.
Okay.
Lamar, lock it in.
Good job. You're going in order so far.
I would like to say Peyton Manning, lock it in.
That is correct. Number 7.
Wow.
Tom Brady, lock it in.
Oh,
Correct. That is number 4.
Yep. We had we had Patrick Mahomes. I'm just trying to think back, and then it was
So you need.
because it was like
there are 5 left, and you need 4 of them.
And they're all quarterbacks. I mean, this should be easy.
yeah. Why am I getting stumped? Should be easy, he says.
Let's see. We're getting
Jordan, what do you think about Drew Brees?
It's tough because these guys have won, like, Rodgers covers 4 years, right?
4 years of them, yeah. And then, like, Mahomes had 2.
Yeah. Brady has had 3 or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So Tom Brady. Who was in the Super Bowl? Oh, Matt Ryan won, and they went to the Super Bowl
That
that
is
year.
good.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, good job. All right. Remember, you don't need to say you don't need to say Rodgers 3 times, right? Just we're saying the last 10 people to win it.
The last 10 people. That's why, like Peyton Manning winning is.
Correct.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to say Rodgers, then Mahomes, then just the last 10 people. Manning won his years apart.
Drew Brees, lock it in.
Incorrect. He's not on the list.
Oh,
Never
man.
won. Never won. You guys have 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, my God. Come on.
Oh, did Cam win an MVP?
Did. Good job. In between Matt Ryan and Peyton Manning. So now
Okay.
you're down to the last 3, 8, 9, and 10. And
Oh, my God.
you need 2.
What year are we talking? Because if it's not Manning, it's not Tom Brady,
Can't
it's
help
not
you
Aaron
there.
Rodgers, it's not Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
That's
Ben
just
Roethlisberger, lock it in.
incorrect. So that is your... Oh, you got 1 left. And boys, you're missing a very large thing here. You have 30 seconds.
what do you
Is
mean
he
a
still
large
playing?
thing?
We're going back. I mean, because Manning's won 3 times. Like,
Is it a quarterback?
you have 20
Come
seconds.
on, man. Come on.
Joey got it. Joey in the chat got it.
He Googled it.
And you don't have to Google. I knew this. You guys, 10 seconds. Here's your hint. No, guys, they're not quarterbacks.
Calvin Johnson, lock it in.
Incorrect. What is wrong with
Adrian
you?
Peterson.
No, I'm sorry. He ended the game. You guys should have.
Is AP one, though?
He is APLT Sean Alexander.
I thought about AP.
So we're talking like early 2000s. Like
Yeah,
the last
those
10
are the
people have to go
last-
back to the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's wild.
Because you got to remember, Peyton won it 3 times. Rodgers won it
Yeah.
4. Mahomes is 2. So that's
Yeah.
11 years there.
Tom Brady is
Yeah.
whatever, 3 or 4, yeah.
And then you go back to when, Adrian Peterson, LT, and Sean Alexander were putting up like 25 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's pretty
The
good.
heyday of fantasy football, may I say.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
of course. Yeah.
that's a-
And NFL Street.
In the chat, we had some Russell Wilson guesses. Adrian Peterson, Joey, threw that out. Kurt Warner did not win an MVP.
Yep. That's just atrocious, by the way. He should have won one.
I will die on the hill that Kurt Warner was not a Hall of Fame player.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I know. He went to 2 Super Bowls. Great, right? He won one.
The greatest
right?
show on turf.
Yeah, but it was for me. It was that was a Marshall Falk thing, right?
Okay.
And an
What he
Isaac
did
Bruce
with the
thing.
Cardinals alone was an MVP worthy career.
Yeah.
It's a good story. Did he win in '99, John? But it's a great Disney story. Absolutely.
He did win a Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like 2003 though. 2002.
I think it was 2000.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Kurt Warner won an MVP. 1999. He won the MVP.
Oh, okay. Well, so he was on the list. Nice job, but he wasn't in this list that we were making.
No, he was not one of the last 10, though. It was like Rich Gannon, Marshall Falk, Kurt Warner, Terrell Davis. This is late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to just rescind my terrible Kurt Warner take. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he won an
Wrong with
MVP.
He won an MVP. He won a Super Bowl. What more do you want from him, Jake?
Eli Manning's better.
Well, Eli Manning's going to end up in the Hall of
Now
Fame.
you're retracting it? That's good.
Yeah. Hot takes coming out right there.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah, all right.
2000 was the Ravens, I believe, with Trent Dilfer. Which is a very good 30 for 30 on their defense came out earlier, or at the end of last year. You should watch it if you have not. So there you go. Thanks, yeah. Well, yeah, you guys suck. So here we go.
Why am I here?
I finally stumped you guys. I kind of feel like really good right now. Oh. I lost. Oh, before Mahomes, he was the latest to do it in the same year.
Who, Kurt Warner?
Yeah, like won a Super Bowl and then.
Yeah, he's so overrated, isn't that right, Jake?
Yeah,
he shouldn't be in the Hall of
No,
Fame.
he sucks, man. Like
Jeez, so wrong. You're so wrong about that.
I just.
I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna buy his Cardinals jersey now and wear it the next show.
Oh,
Love it.
whoop. Oh man, I might have just froze us. Hold on, guys. Nope, everybody wave. All right, cool. Yeah, we're still here. Okay. I lost our thing. All right, pulling.
All right. Well, while you're figuring that
Yeah,
out,
thank
Jake,
you.
let me hit you with some fantasy news
Yeah,
or
go
just
ahead, jump into
news
it.
in the NFL. So some Jets news. So Aaron Rodgers, he has been practicing, which for those of us Packer fans, this is just a very novel
Oh my
thing
God.
that Aaron Rodgers does, is show up to practice when it's optional. But they also signed Randall Cobb.
Of
so
course they did. Okay,
yeah.
so little Randall Cobb story for you guys that don't care at all. Randall Cobb was the first player I ever watched in college, and was like, he'd be perfect for the Packers. And then they took him, and I have loved him ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a Randall Cobb like homer, right? Mm-hmm. There's no reason that man should be on a roster.
No.
None.
Yeah, he's just the elder statesman now on the team,
Well,
The boys are back in town right now in New York.
Aaron Rodgers complaining about not having weapons, and then just comes and takes the weapons. Okay, yes or no, Mercedes Lewis signs the Jets.
Yes,
Okay.
100%. He's going to sign the vet minimum just to be on the roster. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would be phenomenal. I love me some Mercedes.
Oh, I love
He's-
Mercedes,
He's
yes.
epic. He's 40 years old now, though.
Anyway, that's just a little bit of that. So on the other side of the trade, Jordan Love signed an extension, so reworked his deal, so he gets an extra year. So obviously, they kind of have 2 years with him now.
They literally, you rarely see this in sports. They hedge their bet. Like
Yeah.
they and for anyone who doesn't know, it's like when you put two bets down, so one will lose, but you'll still make money with the other one. So like they literally hedge their bet, and you just never see that with quarterbacks or with any players.
It's heavy incentives, right? Like if he does some things, he
Yeah.
has ability to earn extra money, and the guarantee was a little high, I thought.
Well, I mean, otherwise, if they pick up the fifth-year option, it's guarantees like 24.
Yeah, so it's actually it's a good deal for the Packers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's just interesting there. Speaking of other contract things, Jerry Jeudy, they picked up his fifth-year option, which is a little surprising because they apparently the Broncos were shopping all their receivers around, and it sounds like they're just going to keep the same receiver.
Yeah, which
Adam.
I
going
think
into
is
this year.
great. I mean, they really needed to keep those guys if they want to increase their wins and make the playoffs next year. Getting rid of Sutton and Judy was not going to help that.
Agreed.
I'm a big fan of Jerry Judy, I think, and obviously I'm biased, but he's shown spurts where he can take over a game. His route running has been known ever since he got into the game. Like he's elite route runner. Now they just got to use him right now, and I think they've got the right coach to finally do that. So I'm happy.
Great.
Yeah. Some interesting news out of Chiefs camp here. They declined Clyde Edwards-Helaire fifth-year option, and they re-signed Jerick McKinnon. So that backfield was a little bit questionable last year, but it seems like it's McKinnon's and Pacheco's, which is
Adam's giving the
Interesting.
thumbs up because he has McKinnon in the home league and he thinks he's going to take him to the promised land.
Not only that, but here's also why our buddy Luke has been high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire ever since he had that one good year, and I hope we know who I'm talking about, Mr. Luke. You know what, Luke? Suck it. That's all I gotta say.
Mr. Luke.
But anyway, that'll be interesting. I know, like the Chiefs is always they're hard to pin down who the fantasy relevant guys are, so it's nice to see us getting a little bit of clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of just signings. Latavius Murray moved to the Bills, super low stakes, but no longer on the Broncos, so I had to bring it up. Sorry, Adam. There's some rumors now that DeAndre Hopkins trying to stay in Arizona. One we're going to keep an eye on. There was trade rumors, things like that. Jake's shaking his head. You don't think he stays in Arizona?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was shaking my head at the chat. Continue your thing.
Oh, okay.
What was his quote the other day? It was like, "Who talking about me leaving? Who talking about me staying?" or something like that. I'm like, all right, I don't know what.
Adam's like, well, I guess we were, but
Yeah.
And then last thing that I have is probably the most interesting thing that's come up, and it came kind of day 2, day 3 of the draft, is that DeAndre Swift was traded to the Eagles. So the Lions picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, the 12th overall pick. We were just stunned. We were like, you have Gibbs now. You just signed Montgomery. You have Swift. What are you doing? They moved Swift to the Eagles. So Jake and Adam, who's the running back to own in Philadelphia?
I'd rather have Swift.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
24. He's
I think he'll bounce back if he stays healthy, obviously. We know Penny's more injury riddled than he is.
you know who's the sleeper here? Kenneth
Boston
Gainswell.
Scott.
One of those guys.
It'll be super interesting to see where their ADPs. I think that's the biggest thing. Like which
I
ADPs
almost took
better.
him in that draft that we're in right now, but I didn't want to risk it. I don't know what that backfield's going to look like. So.
Yeah. So right now it's a little too rich for my blood, but we'll see.
All right, that's it. That's the news that I got for you guys.
So
From the
then
past week.
let's jump into the NFL news. Adam's going to talk about the quarterbacks when we do these. I'll talk about the receivers. Jordan, you talk about running backs, okay?
And tight ends. Dibs tight ends, too.
Oh, yeah. Adam, you can have tight ends too.
Okay. All right.
I said dibs tight ends, and you just gave it to Adam like that?
Oh my gosh.
You want half? Jordan, you want half?
Yeah. You want half? All right.
No,
Jordan,
it's fine. You got
nope.
it.
Sorry, this is what you get. Jordan gets the Ohio tight ends.
Perfect.
Adam, you can have the other two. So, Adam, why don't you?
I
jump
get
in?
the worst ones.
Let's start with the. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
And we'll go through the
Yeah,
whole
I'll jump
team,
in
and then
right
we'll
here.
switch.
Yep. So current ADP for Lamar Jackson is seven
2,
overall, right? Or no, 7th round.
7th round,
Second
second pick.
Yeah. So he is coming off a year. Obviously, he was hurt. Got hurt in that Denver game, and he never really took the field. Right. Got paid. I think he's happy. Baltimore seems happy. They got him Zay Flowers, which we'll get into in a little bit. Obviously, you can take him. You might even think about reaching on him a little higher than his ADP, just because of that dual threat perk, right? 17 touchdowns last year, 7 picks, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had 764 yards before he got hurt, and there's a lot of games left to play last year, so they're obviously going to run the ball with him. I think he will be effective. I think he'll be better than last year because of the receiver room. And again, this is coming from a guy I hated on his process, but he's still an elite player if he stays healthy. I really think that you can take him happily if he slides to you in the 7th round there. Sorry, guys, loud truck. But Lamar is going to be Lamar. I think he's going to do Lamar things. He's got to stay healthy. But ultimately, the Ravens quarterback room is now set for the foreseeable future. So I think Lamar is a great pick in the 7th round there. again, I might think about taking him in the 6th. I mean, especially if there's a run on quarterbacks, you can take him a little earlier than that. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how often he's going to be there at round 7, right?
yeah,
I mean, he's QB6 right now.
yep.
So, well, who is that? That's Burrow, Mahomes. Do you have it, Jordan?
Yeah, I can tell you right now.
Okay. If you're getting him in the 7th round, right when the quarterbacks are starting to go, I'd feel great about that. I would guess that ADP will go up, right?
Yep.
We are comfortable taking him there, right? Because we always say wait on your quarterbacks. But I bet you that ADP goes up. Who's going ahead of him, Jordan?
Yeah, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, 6.
Yep.
I feel
And I
comfortable.
think it's interesting to say too. I mean, he finished 2nd in rushing yards by a QB, and he missed 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played 12
it's
games last year.
phenomenal. I mean, he's going to be elite. That's just a fact.
Absolutely. I'm so happy he got paid. All right.
Yeah, totally.
All right. What did I say? Am I doing running backs?
No,
Or
I'm
you-
running
You
backs.
are. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Ravens running back is J.K. Dobbins. So back again, we get J.K. Dobbins. Last year he only played 8 games. He played like half the season. Finished as RB 48, something a running back 5, basically not worth having on your team. And currently, and again, as Jake, I think you mentioned, like these ADPs early, until there's more data, right? Until people are doing more mock drafts and things like that, the ADPs are a little skewed. He's currently not being drafted. I do not expect that to.
Yeah, I think we should just say something like some of these ADPs are really weird, right? And if they're undrafted, we'll say something, but they are being drafted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would draft J.K. Dobbins. I like him. As like a running back 3, maybe. I'm nervous. The reason I'm nervous is he'll probably be taken before that, and he has not been able to string together a really healthy season. And he always kind of is overshadowed as a rusher by Lamar. And then Gus Edwards always gets those goal line carries, and I just hate it.
I just hate it.
So that's usually why I stay away from J.K. Dobbins. But if he falls to you and and you're in the right spot, he's like worth rolling the dice because they are a run heavy team in Baltimore.
I like Dobbins. For
Really?
those 500 yards he did, I mean, he put up like 250 of them in 2 weeks. He led the league in yards per carry for a running back.
He's just not sexy. I mean,
No.
he's not a sexy pick.
It's just hard to want the guy when Lamar is running around, right? Running back 3, I think you could definitely probably get him there. So he'll probably go as running back, 20, 25, somewhere in there. And he could easily finish top 15, a high-end wide or running back 2. I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, right?
No.
I'm excited to see where his ADP is later, because who is he going to be taken around, right? So it'll be interesting to see, but we'll keep an eye on it. I think I'm going to end up with a lot of J.K. Dobbins. Those are my initials as well, so gotta
Sentimental here.
All right, let me hit the receivers. Jordan wrote down apparently everyone. So
Pick the ones you think are most relevant. They kind of got a stacked receiver.
They do. So they got Devin Duvernay. I'm just going to say everyone. Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar. All right, I don't care about Duvernay. I don't care about Aguilar. Bateman is just so sad. I really like him. He just couldn't stay healthy. 6 games, only had 285 yards. I think he could still return some value. He should start out probably as wide receiver 2 on that team, just based on being there. I think Zay Flowers will easily take him over. There's no ADPs right now. Flowers is an ADP of the 15th round. That'll probably go up. I think the real question is how good is Odell, right? I am an Odell fanatic. I am all about Odell Beckham. Easily. I think he can give wide receiver 2 numbers this year.
Oh, no.
Yes, absolutely.
Even after a year off, Jake?
Yes.
No, he's going to be overdrafted. No, his ADP is going to be way too high for the chance that he gets back to his best production in the last half decade.
Even during the second half of that last when he was on the Rams, he was a wide receiver 2.
And then he took a year off.
Because he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl.
But then he took a year off.
No, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl.
He could have come back late. He could have been doing some sort of workouts for football. Dude, here's the thing.
Why?
He took a year off.
Oh
And he's 33.
He's 33.
He's up there.
Oh my goodness! But still,
Yeah, look up his age.
He's 30. He's 30.
My bad. No, once he hit 30, that's the new 33. That's fine.
that's what they say.
His last 1,000-yard season was in 2019, Jake.
Oh my god!
4 years ago. You're saying he's going to get back to his wide receiver 2,000-yard status from 4 years ago?
Do you care to book it, Jake?
Come on, do it.
I will not be booking it. But
Yeah,
wide receiver 2, what is that? That means you're at least wide receiver 20, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You think he's a top 20?
That would be tough. I think, yeah, but okay, fine. I will book that he finishes the top 25. I feel good about
I thought you said wide receiver 2, Jake.
that. That's fair. Anyways.
I'm booking it. Wide receiver
write
2.
Write it down. The other guys I don't really care about. Zay Flowers is a dynasty hold. I don't really... I mean, he's a first-round receiver, right? First round? Yeah, first round.
Yep.
And the opportunity will be there. It's really crowded, right? And it's not like the Vikings where they had the huge need, right? So, like, I think Flowers could give return. I think next year's probably the time where you're really going to see Flowers take off. But he's worth a flyer late in drafts.
Yeah, I think the real person, like the who benefits the most is Lamar.
Yeah.
Who had no one to throw to, and now all of a sudden he has
Mediocrity.
Well, I'm just saying, like Rashad Bateman, we were like, oh, he's the wide receiver 1 there in Baltimore, like he's the first option,
Yeah.
and now we're like, we barely even need to talk about him. So I kind of like what they did. It's not huge, necessarily like huge productive talent that's there right now, but I think there's a variety of people. It's a little bit what the Chiefs did, right? They had a bunch of guys who will probably finish somewhere between wide receiver 3 and 4, and who will it help the most? The quarterback.
Yeah.
Lamar said, I'm going to throw for 6,000 yards. So.
Lamar's
That is
a
not
liar.
happening.
Lamar's a liar. Go ahead.
All right, Adam.
No.
I get the
that's
Ohio
right.
tight end.
That's right.
So.
Okay. I will just preface this that, we thought this guy would be hands down number 2 last year. We thought he'd be the number 2 tight end in the league. He's starting to get up there in age. I still think he's a very effective tight end. I think he's solid. His numbers dipped a little bit last year with Lamar being hurt. His ADP is 6th round, 9th pick right now. Tight end 5 ranked. He finished tight end 5 last year. And again, it's the Kelsey effect. I mean, everyone who isn't Travis Kelsey doesn't really matter. But I think Mark Andrews is going to be a solid pick. I think Lamar is still going to go to him a lot. Now that they've got other weapons, I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities on play action plays. I think he's solid. I think his ADP is good. I think you can take him there. Don't reach for him. That's just my advice. I wouldn't reach for Mark Andrews. Maybe 2 years ago I would. But ultimately right now, I think his ADP is fine. I think he'll do solid. If Lamar stays healthy, his numbers could increase again. But now there's more weapons, right? It's more crowded. I think he'll finish with similar production as he did last year.
All right. I agree. I don't have much to say about that.
That's fine. Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, I think he's the 5 in the top 5 tight ends, right? I think that's where he sits.
Mm-hmm.
But he is Lamar's best target. He's the best pass catcher in Baltimore.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Why don't we move on? We got the Bengals. Adam, you want to talk about Joe Burrow?
I would love to, and I just want to remind our avid listeners who in this room.
I love Joe Burrow.
Rooms were virtual. No, hold on, buddy. This man, Jake Kniffer, buddy, you didn't like him last year. You thought he'd finish outside the top 10?
I did, yeah. It was a wrong
how'd that
take.
go? How'd that go? It was a wrong take. I won't give you that much crap, but I just wanted to bring that up and remind people. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a better year than he did last year. I think you can book it. He is going to be in the top 2 quarterbacks.
Ooh.
You can
Top 2.
Top 2. I think he's going to be elite. He's got a better line now. He has great weapons. The receiving room, which we'll get into in a second, all 3 of those guys can produce at any given time. it would not shock me if all three guys went over 1,000 yards. I think Joe Burrow's set up for success. And I think, his ADP is 5th round, 3rd pick. Take him earlier than that if you can. If there's a run on quarterbacks or someone looks like they're starting a run, take him earlier. I would. I mean, he is going to get rushing touchdowns. He's athletic. He stretches the field fantastic. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I know Jordan is too. I think Jake's warming up to him now that he had that blunder. And I think, Joe Burrow going to have a great year, top 2 quarterback.
Yeah, top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
And when you're top 5, the chance to be the top is always available to you.
Yep.
Jake, you probably aren't allowed to really say anything about Joe Burrow today.
I have something to say.
Because I agree, Adam. I thought last year their O-line, they invested a bunch in it, and he was still getting sacked left and right, and then they even invested more into it. So I like it, I think.
I'm all in, man.
Yeah, I'm all in on Joey B. Yeah.
I got something to say.
Yeah, what?
You get 10 seconds.
All right, his ADP of 5'3" is too high. It is.
Okay, your 10 seconds are over. Hey, Jordan, take us into the running back. Joe Mixon is up.
It's too high for any quarterbacks. I'd rather wait.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, that's just philosophy, though. It's not. It's too high for you. It's where he'll go.
Fools.
Yeah.
Fools.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, running back, Joe Mixon is currently the guy that's up. There's some off-the-field questions about Joe Mixon, and I know on this podcast and a lot in our chat that we've talked about for people who have listened in when we do the live stream, have talked about, like, Joe Mixon might not be on the team when the season starts, right? He's got some off-the-field issues. They didn't address it. I thought, maybe if the Bengals, draft someone, bring out a rookie or something like that, then it might be like, oh, yeah, it's obvious Joe Mixon is not going to be there. They didn't do it. So it seems like, at least right now, they're riding Joe Mixon. Yep. He finished his RB14 last year, and if you remember, he had just that legendary epic game with 6 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns or whatever. And so that sort of clouds the stats, but he finished with 7 or 9 TDs, 7 rushing, 2 receiving, and half of those were in one game. So kind of skews the numbers a little bit. He's currently being drafted at the end of the 5th round, RB16. That one is way too high for me.
Yeah.
I think until we have some clarity, it's a little bit of the Alvin Kamara effect, right? Where last year, we thought maybe he'd be suspended, and then he didn't, so it ended up seeming like it was good value. You kind of play that game a little bit, but for me, Joe Mixon, I'm staying away from him this year until we know, until someone at the Bengals organization says we stand behind him, he's our guy. I don't want him.
I did read an article today because I took him in our draft. One analyst said that his pass catching is now elite, and it has been for some time. He just hasn't gotten the opportunities. Last year, he finally did. Jake, don't roll your eyes. This guy's getting paid more than all of us, whoever wrote this article.
For now. I said for now.
For now, yep. Yeah,
we had 60 receptions last year. I mean, that's significant.
Yeah, that's great.
More than Odell, who's wide receiver 2, apparently.
That's not what I was saying. God, whatever. You guys suck.
Jordan.
You're done.
Yes.
You're done.
Hit him again.
Let's move on to Jamar. Excuse me. All right. Let's get the receivers. Jamar. I whispered. Okay, Jamar Chase. He's really good. He had 1,000 yards last year. Only played in 12 games. He missed that chunk right in the middle. His ADP of 1.9. He wide receiver 2. Does that sound right to you?
The 2nd overall wide receiver? Yeah. He's first round. Someone's taking him in the first round.
Because that's fine, but everything I have seen, it's... would you take him over Cup? That's my guess. That's my question.
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Well, okay. But that's how it's going right now. I assume that means Justin Jefferson's going first, right?
Yeah. And I just say there's questions around Stafford. Otherwise, if there wasn't, I might take Cup.
I feel real good about Jamar Chase. I'd hope for me, if you're picking in the back half of your first round, I think it really just depends on the first few picks go. If you could get him as on the turnaround, so 2-2, right? I feel a little better about that, right? But he's elite. I don't know what else you want to say. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
He's probably it's either him or Justin Jefferson you'd rather own in Dynasty, and it's really close for me. I would actually probably lean Dynasty Justin Jefferson. Or I'm sorry, no, Jamar Chase. And I say that only because who knows what happens with Kirk Cousins, and Joe Burrow's going to be there forever. But you get him on your team. He's your first receiver. Love it. Great. Keep going. T. Higgins, the second guy there. Another 1,000 yards, played in 16 games. He's going in the 4th round. He is a wide receiver 14. I think that's perfect. Right?
Agreed.
He is a perfect wide receiver 2. He's right in the middle, right? He's going to give you good games, and his floor is wide receiver 2. So, 4th round, I always struggle, when you start talking 4th round, taking the second receiver in an offense. But for him, he's a safe pick. Draft him. I love it. Keep it going. And then Tyler Boyd, he's going in the 12th round. I think that's also really good value. We've seen that Tyler Boyd could be a flex, and if an injury happens to either of those guys, he's a wide receiver 2, right?
Yep.
So, Tyler Boyd's a guy in the double-digit rounds that I would love to be targeting. All the receivers in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Draft
you
them
want
all.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
I
of the
agree.
best receiver rooms in the league. I mean,
Totally. Every year, or at least the last couple of years, I always am like, I can't draft T. Higgins. He's the number 2 guy. And
Yeah, right.
every year, I either do it and I'm happy, or I don't and I regret it. So, like...
I love it. Hey, interrupt just quickly for, because we're live and everything. Hey, Adam, you're up, by the way, in the Dynasty League.
I am. All right. Perfect.
I say that because Joey in the chat here wants Adam, to tell the people who just got taken. Who just got taken?
He wants me to tell the world
Yeah.
right now. Let it load.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were ready.
Oh, let him cook, baby. Russell Wilson. All right.
And we will talk more about them when we get to the AFC West. Jordan, talk about the receiver or the tight end very quickly.
Tight end. Irv Smith was traded, or not traded, he was picked up. I don't know, whatever. He's on the Bengals now. Love him as like I don't draft a tight end, and I'm going to pick him up in like the last round of the draft.
Yeah.
Again, he's just a pass catcher from Joe Burrow, and I like that for him. He's I think just a great tight end to pick up as a flyer and a streamer
Agreed.
later in the draft.
All right, we are halfway done with this, boys. Let's keep this cooking. Try to keep this one under an hour. Adam, Deshaun Watson, talk about him.
I'm making my picks. Hold on.
Oh my gosh! All right, I will talk about him.
No, I got him. I got Scary Terry and Jared Goff, by the way, on the wraparound.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yep. So
Jared
let's
Goff.
talk Deshaun. I don't got a lot to say about him because I'm still. We did an episode where we talked about him last year. We have
Talk about his fantasy stuff.
I will talk about his fantasy stuff, and here's the thing: this is a guy that took a year off, more than a year off, almost. I just don't think he has it.
You don't think you think he's done?
No, I don't think he's done, but I think he's going to be if we're thinking about in the league, right around that 20 quarterback range, 21, 22. I just think, he has no ADP. He's QB 15 right now. He's not going to be as elite as he used to be. He'll be solid. And if you're in a super flex or something, great. Take him. But ultimately, you do not want to reach for this guy. I wouldn't draft him. I think there's better options. And so I think, his numbers obviously dipped because he had the suspension. But even when he came back, he looked lost. Like, he looked lost. And you'd think a guy that gets to study the playbook, he's still practicing as the practicing quarterback or whatever. You'd think he'd have something. He looked like a lost quarterback when he came back. Didn't look like he was comfortable in the pocket. And, yeah, maybe an offseason of work with the guys now as the number one will help that. But, honestly, like, fantasy-wise, I'd even just stay away from him. If you got a 2 QB league, like, maybe take him. That's fine. That's how I feel. I don't know.
Jordan?
I think he will be taken as a top 10 quarterback in drafts. I think that's how he'll get drafted. Probably around like quarterback 8, 9, 10, or 11, he'll be taken. I would be okay with him as a backup, but I agree with you, Adam. I think he did not like wow us, and I think a lot of people drafted him last year hoping that he would come back and like take you through the playoffs, and he just wasn't that quarterback for you.
Yep.
So I think he'll improve, and he has like Amari Cooper, and he has good weapons there, and so I think he'll he'll be a good quarterback. I think his ceiling is like low end quarterback 1. But you're right. I think his floor is I shouldn't have drafted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jake, you seem to disagree.
I completely disagree, and I hate it.
What, you think he's gonna be a top dog?
I think he could easily get back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he was off for a year and a half because of his stuff, and getting put back into that system and all that stuff. It takes time, right? And he's got weapons around him. There's no reason. Like, we've seen it. The only reason you don't think he can do it again is because he took so much time off.
Yep.
And
But here's the thing.
if you overcome that, then he was a top 5 quarterback.
If he would have
Right at the time, yeah.
If you have looked even a little better when he came back last year, though, I would feel a lot better about your.
He looked like a guy who hadn't played in a year and a half. Well, now he has played, and now he'll have a full off season.
So what about Odell? That's gonna look like a guy that came back. From
He's a wide receiver too, Adam.
I booked it, man. All right, so there's my thoughts. I think Watson could actually be undervalued. It'll be interesting to see where his ADP goes.
All right, that'll be one. I think that'll be a polarizing player. Yeah. All right, Nick Chubb. Love Nick Chubb.
Love Nick Chubb. Let's not
Every
spend too long
year-
on Nick Chubb here.
Every year, I think he just does the same thing. He is good for 1,500 yards. He is good for every game. He is good for 10-plus touchdowns, and he is always good for like a catch.
Yeah.
Every other week, right? The interesting thing is, will it improve without Kareem Hunt there? Do you think he'll be more involved in the pass game?
I think so. I think he will. I think he's just such an elite talent. Anytime he has the ball in his hands, he could go 90 yards. Whether it's a pass catch or a run. It's just, he's elite.
Yeah, he finished his RB5. He's getting taken right away in the 3rd round. So end of 2nd, early 3rd, running back 8. That's the spot for him. If you're picking at the end of the 2nd round, early 3rd round, and you need a running back, love Nick Chubb.
Agreed.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, he's just such a consistent person. We talked about it a lot this last year. Take him, feel good about it. He's going to do it. Just great. Let me talk about the receivers. Jordan, you're up, by the way. They got Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Devin Peoples-Jones, Marquise Goodwin. Elijah Moore showing up killed the Devin Peoples-Jones hype, I gotta say. I really like Amari Cooper. I think he's not in the same tier as Nick Chubb, right, in his position, but in the same sort of thing where you could plug him in as a wide receiver 2 and it's safe, right? He is a safe player. He's probably not going to give you wide receiver 1 numbers. I mean, yeah, he finished as wide receiver 20 last year. I think he could probably do a little bit better than that. But, 78 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's great. You're getting in the 8th round? Yes, please. Elijah Moore, I think, is a wild card. I think he's talented. I really do. I really like him. I was kind of hoping the Packers would trade him for him before that whole thing went down. Do you think he could give wide receiver 3 numbers this upcoming year? Could he finish in the top 30? I think the biggest question about that for me is not can Elijah Moore finish in the top 30, is can Deshaun Watson provide 2 players, right?
Right.
So for me, I think he can.
I think so, because Amari Cooper finished in the top 10, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones was wide receiver 39, so close, and Deshaun Watson only played part of the year. So I think yes. My question is it Elijah Moore that does it?
Yeah. It's not Devin Peoples-Jones. Not for me. Sorry. I ran him in the ground this past year. Not loving it. I'm all out on Devin Peoples-Jones.
Yep, I agree. I think he's done.
Well, his name is Donovan Peoples-Jones. So
that's how important he isn't to me.
Agreed, Jake. I agree with you. I think it's irrelevant.
All right. Great. Cool.
Yeah.
Jordan, talk about Njoku.
All right, tight end. Finished tight end 13. It's kind of surprising, I think.
It was really surprising. Yeah.
But he's another one who, won't get picked very high. He'll probably get picked in if people are picking backup tight ends. Mm-hmm. And I like him there, right? It's just as you get into later rounds, we kind of preach that philosophy of, unless it's Travis Kelce, get him way later. And even then, you're just picking guy Irv Smith, David Njoku, You're just picking someone that you hope does well, and you can easily drop and pick up a new guy if needed. So that's what I like about David Njoku. That's kind of where he lives for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was sneaky good, right?
Yeah.
And this is a guy who, before last offseason, we didn't even know if he'd be like on the team. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Njoku is a good. Would you rather have Irv Smith or Njoku if you're waiting?
Irv Smith because he's got a better quarterback.
Agreed.
I guess this is just the thing today. I'd rather have Njoku because we've seen him do it, but more than Irv Smith has, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But we're going to run into that as we go along. That there's a lot of these things that are like tied to the quarterback, right? I think Watson's going to do relatively well this year. Hence why I'm higher on the other players versus you two not being, right?
Yeah. You think Joe Burrow is overrated still for some reason?
I'm not. It's a philosophy thing. You said it. Okay, whatever. Let's move on to the last team. I'm sick of talking to you guys. Let's go.
Okay. I think Brissett will have a better year than Watson. Anyway, moving on. Kenny Pickett, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy from Pittsburgh himself, the hometown kid. He looked like a rookie last year. When he got in there, he had more interceptions than touchdowns. He has no ADP this year. He's undrafted. Finished quarterback 28 last year. Now, he has more running ability than I think people thought.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of attractive a little bit. If you're in a regular league, I wouldn't really take him. Maybe as a backup, right? He's going to be a backup. I think his ADP is fine where it is. No ADP at all. I don't know what to say because we don't have a lot of game film on him, right? We don't have a lot of things to measure him by. I think year 2 will be big for him. He's got a pretty talented receiving room, minus that one guy that I will not speak his name. And then, he's got Najee Harris, which he's a pass-catching guy sometimes. Pat Freiermuth, who I think Jordan was high on last year. He's got a tight end he can throw to. I guess I hate Pat Freiermuth. But Kenny Pickett, the guy that has smaller hands than I do, and I'm not a quarterback. I don't have quarterback
the hands
anyway.
thing. Here we go again.
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what you guys want to say about Kenny Pickett. He could either really improve or just be a guy. And maybe he's a guy you can start in an emergency spot now and then. But that's
Adam has pretty much nothing to say about Kenny Pickett. He just talked for a minute and a half with no juice, no.
It shows you how good I can talk about things that I don't know a lot about and just.
All right. How about this? He finished quarterback 28 last year. Would you feel comfortable, Jordan, booking it? And this isn't a huge one, so I'll let you make the decision. Would you book him to finish as a top 20 quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay, write it down. Say it. Say the words.
Book it.
Yeah.
This just feels such low stakes that I have to write this down.
One.
Yeah, I will book it that Kenny Pickett will be a top 20 quarterback.
I like Kenny Pickett. I think I like Kenny Pickett because I like the people around him, right? I think Najee bounces back this year.
All the people around him?
Every single one of them, especially Allen Robinson. Here's the thing. It's just that Allen Robinson brings a veteran presence into that wide receiver room, which is good, right? That's worth something. I think I'll talk about it here in a sec, but I really like George Pickens. And that's all. I don't want him to become a top 10 quarterback this year. I don't think that's going to happen. But just steady improvement, win a few more games, right? And I think the rushing upside is a big deal, right? You start more games, you're the starter. You don't have Mitch Trubisky in front of you now, Yeah. I think, you win 8 games this year. We'll be talking.
They even did read option stuff with him towards the end of the year. So, he's good.
Pickett wins 8-9 games this year, and I think that secures his spot for years to come. So
yeah, he finished his quarterback 28, and he didn't even play the whole year. He only played 13 games. So you just think even if he did the same production, he's a top 20 quarterback if he plays the whole season, and he'll have the whole season. And I expect even modest improvement will put him over the line. So that book feels a little weak, but I'll pad the stats for the end of the year. Yeah.
All right. Why don't you talk about Harris?
Yep. So Najee Harris, we were so high on him when he came out. He kind of had a little bit of it seems like a smaller year last year, but he still finished running back 12. So I think he was overdrafted. That was below expectations for him, but he's still running back 2. Right now his ADP is end of the second round. He's going just before Nick Chubb as running back 7. So I think those two are interchangeable when we're talking like ADPs and kind of where people are taking him right now. But he's still at 1,000-yard season, 7 touchdowns. I expect that to be the same, maybe a little more. So I think taking him as a low-end running back 1 is the right spot for him. I'm just excited to see, or hope to see, that whole Steelers offense take a step forward, because I think everyone underachieved. And I think it was just, you had a rookie, you were starting Mitch Trubisky, who was kind of a dud. You tried to bring in, Kenny Pickett, who was trying to learn the offense and just be a pro. That's hard. So I expect that whole offense to take a step forward, which I like to see.
Yeah, he's being taken right in that spot where last year, like where Javonte Williams was going and DeAndre Swift, like the same that's right where they were going to. And we were talking about whether or not you want to wait. So if you took Justin Jefferson and then got Najee Harris with pick 210 in a 10-person league, feel good about that, right?
I'm happy about that.
That feels really good. Yeah, I think he could really bounce back this year. Let me get into the receivers. I lost my thing. They got Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, and Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett.
George Pickens.
Thank you, George Pickens. George Pickens finished as wide receiver 19.
No, 30. Wide receiver 30.
That's not what that says.
He finished as wide receiver 30. He's being drafted as wide receiver 19.
Oh. Been reading that wrong this whole time.
Yeah, buddy.
I made this nice table for him, everyone. It's a really nice graph.
I love that ADP for him. I think that George Pickens could really he finished wide receiver 30. I think he could finish the top 20. He's just so talented. He's like the catches that man can make. I love that 8th round ADP. I think he could easily outperform that. Deontay Johnson, I think he could bounce back as well. So his big thing was like the drops. Well, he cut down the drops this past year, but then he just couldn't. I mean, he had 882 yards and 86 receptions and no touchdowns. You had 4 touchdowns onto that, and he's a top 20 receiver.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jake, do you think Kenny Pickett's got 2 top 20
that's
wide receivers in him?
Yeah, that's the rough part. I understand. I'm just saying it's possible, right?
I do like George Pickens more than I like Deontay Johnson.
So do I.
You know my feelings about Deontay Johnson.
But don't you like Deontay Johnson in the 10th, though? Like, that's decent value.
I guess. Every year I play this game, and one year I had Deontay Johnson, and I paid too much for him, and he has only burned me.
Hey, can I make a book it?
Sure.
You can book it. The guy who I will not name, so you'll have to write his name down. AR is his initials.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I know Allen Robinson.
Yep, that guy, whatever. He will finish with worse stats than he had last year.
Oh, man. 339 yards.
He's fading every year, and he'll fade this year out of the league, hopefully.
Oh, my gosh. He finished wide receiver 86.
I don't care.
Okay. I won't lie yet. I'm really hoping he just has a good year.
Yeah.
Just goes off.
Yeah.
Right. I hope it's dramatic. I hope it's not like he had 350 yards instead. I'm hoping it's big difference.
I'll bring out my A-Rob flag again and be the leader of the fan club finally.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you talk about Freiermuth, Adam? Finish this up.
All right. Like I said, I'm not a big fan. I think he was grossly overrated going into last year. Had some good production yard-wise. I mean, he finished tight end 12, so that's not that bad. But again, I can't stress this enough. We have the Kelsey rule, and everyone else is just a dude who could finish God knows where. If Pickett is as good as advertised, and let's say he has a good year like Jake says, top 20 quarterback, I could see Freiermuth's numbers going up. He's currently at an ADP of round 9, pick 3, tight end number 7 right now. I think that was right around where he was last year. I know we put him in our top 5 when we were doing our preseason stuff. But anyway, I just think, he's not a sexy pick either, no matter where you take him. He could have a boom game. Like, I think he had a few games he went off, but then he has games where he has no catches or like 3 catches for 12 yards, and he's just a bum. But
He's
sorry,
just a
Pat
bum.
Freiermuth, I'm sorry. If you ever come on our show, buddy, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. Well, there
You know,
goes that
he's-
chance.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is gonna destroy you when he's on our show someday. But anyway, Pat Freiermuth, his ADP is probably good where it's at. Don't reach for him. Don't reach for any tight end. I mean, there's a reason in our draft right now that's going on. I haven't picked a tight end yet. I'm just going to pick some guy that isn't Travis Kelce. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, the difference between tight end 7 and tight end 17 is like 20 points. So, we're talking about
wait.
such a and Pat Freiermuth is just right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Right. So we're kind of thinking like you wait. The benefit he has is he's young. So if you like, if it's a dynasty, this is his second year, like, you kind of like that piece of that.
Yep.
But that's about it.
All right, guys. There's the AFC North. Next week we will hit the AFC West. Why not? Why not?
Heck yeah, baby.
We appreciate everyone hanging around. Quickly, Adam, Joey in the chat said Robinson is the only one really laughing. He got paid $21 million
I can't
for
believe
349
it.
yards.
Joey, I can't believe it, man. I just, unreal.
You guys can follow us on Facebook at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. That there you'll see when we're posting that when we will be live. It's usually either Wednesday or Thursday on YouTube at youtube.com/the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We have a Patreon if you'd like to help us in that sort of way. No pressure, but if you want to, we have it there. It's posted on our Facebook page. I'll have to figure out how to link that in these videos as well. But boys, unless you have anything else to say.
Nothing for me.
Go Broncos, go Twins, go Tigers, baby. Go Irish. I can't believe I almost forgot.
Oh my goodness. We can't forget that. All right.
Yeah.
You guys take care. Be good. Jeez.
Heyo.
Jeez.
Sorry, I forgot that was my responsibility to end the recording.
gosh.
Sorry, y'all.
The people in the YouTube, thank you guys for hanging around us. Or hanging
Yes, thank
around
you,
us. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys. The chat makes it fun. We had like 6 or 7 people talking in here.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. AFC West. For the people for the people on the oh my gosh, I cannot speak. If you would like to become a Patreon member, it is on our Facebook page. Most of the people in here right now are already, but if you'd like to and you're not, let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next